So the Locust Heavy Destroyers with the Exterminator weapons, what do they actually do? Within this video I'm going to be showing you the numbers, the statistics, the math hammer of what Locust Heavy Destroyers with the Exterminators do with the Locust Lord. I'm going to be going through all different toughness types, different opponents, different units, and I'm also going to be explaining how to actually better the unit with certain detachments and unit synergy from the Codex. So let's get involved with the Locust Heavy Destroyers. Now the first thing that we need to actually cover here before we get into depth with this video is the weapon that the Locust Heavy Destroyers actually has. The Exterminate weapon, or the Enigmatic Exterminators. They've got heavy, they've got rapid fire 6, sustain hits 1, 36-inch range, so plenty of range there, 18 inches the rapid fire range, don't forget, 6 attacks per model, but again within rapid fire range that will be 12 attacks per model, hitting on 3, strength 6, minus 1 AP and 1 damage. Now don't forget as well, the ballistic skill could go up to a 2+ because of the heavy keyword, if you get all those stars aligned I suppose. So ideally you don't want to be moving, but you do want to be within 18-inch range to get the best statistics possible. Now they naturally reroll 1s to wound against non-monsters and vehicle units, so that will be your ideal target. And once you add the Locust Lord to the unit, well, he's going to be unlocking critical hits of a 5+ for those sustained hits, which would normally be on a 6+. So a third of your dice pool will actually be sustained hits. Extra dice is always good. He of course also comes with the Resurrection Orb and all that other jazz, but we'll kind of talk about more to do with the math side of things rather than the durability side of the unit. But all in all, the 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers and the Locust Lord will come up to 230 points, plus any enhancements that you may or may not take with the Locust Lord. Right, so now that we've got that part out of the way, let's talk about some toughnesses, some toughness groups. I'm going to start with Toughness 3, because that's the minimal. Well, I know Toughness 2 is less, of course, I think there's even a few Toughness 1 stuff. But you're going to be wounding on 2s against Toughness 3 or less anyway, so it can be all grouped into the same thing here. Now we could discuss things such as Drukhari Witches, you've got Imperial, not Imperial, what they call nowadays, Astra Militarum Guardsmen, Termagants from the Tyrannid Codex. They're all Toughness 3 with a 5+ armor save, 1 wound model. OC2, which, you know, that's what they kind of are, most of these things. I think the Drukhari Witches have a 6+ invulnerable save if I'm not mistaken, but that will be the same armor save anyway because it's a -1 to the AP, so these 5+ armor saves will go to a 6+ anyway, so it's exactly the same. I mean, other examples that are Toughness 3 that have slightly different stats, Demonettes from the Chaos Demons Codex have got a 5+ invulnerable save, so they won't go down to a 6+. And Eldari Guardians, they start on a 4+ armor save, so they won't go to a 6+, they'll be on a 5+. So yeah, let's start with these Toughness 3 models, this Toughness 3 group to begin. Now, with your 36 attacks, or your 36 shots from your Locust Heavy Destroyers with this weapon, this is what you're going to achieve. Now, you're going to get 42 hits on average. And that is an average, and you're probably wondering, how am I getting more hits than I had in shots, in terms of shots? Well, you've got to remember, you got the sustained hits 1. And it's going to be on a 5+ because of the Locust Lord. So any 5+ rolls are going to give you an additional hit. And a third of the dice there are additional hits. So from your 36 shots, you will miss 6 of them, because 6 of them will be 1s. But 12 of them, on average, will be a 5+ roll. So you're going to gain 12 back. So in total, you're going to be having 42 on average in terms of your hits there. Now, if you're wounding on 2s and you're re-rolling 1s, don't forget, because they're not monsters or vehicles, you can expect approximately 40 to 41 wounds to go through. Now, with the armor save of a 5+, which will go to a 6+ because of the AP, you can expect about 34 dead models, literally 34 dead models. Now, I know none of these unit sizes have 30 in the unit. You could opt to maybe split fire. This is just math theory, math hammer. So realistically, you're probably not going to split fire. You could chance it, I suppose, but you're not going to. You're going to put it all into one unit, and pretty much the unit's going to be destroyed. Or, as I said, you can split fire and maybe take a chance at taking out 1.5 or even 2 units. So yeah, that is the damage outcome against Toughness 3. Like, if you're going up against Witches, for example, let's take those 34 deaths for those Drukhari Witches. That's approximately 300, I think it's like 306 points. I mean, there'll be max units of 10 there, so you would have to split fire each individual one, providing that there's 3 targets available within rapid fire range and you'll hit on 2s there. But that's 306 points just gone in a single shooting phase. If it's Guardsmen, it's about 204 points. They come in units of 20. And Gaunts, again, 34 Gaunts is about 204 points. Again, max units of 20. So there's a lot of damage, a lot of points being removed from your opponent's army from one volley of shooting. Now let's step it up a notch. Let's go to Toughness 4. I've got a couple of examples for you for Toughness 4. I've got the standard Space Marine Intercessors, and I've also got Chaos Legionnaires, which are basically the Chaos variant of the Intercessors, I guess. They're both Toughness 4 models. They've both got a 3+ armor save, 2 wounds apiece, and OC 2 if you're counting on OC. So let's go back to those statistics then. Again, you've got your 36 shots, 42 hits on average. This time you're wounding on 3s, not 2, but you will still be re-rolling 1s because of the re-rolls of 1s with their ability. So you can expect about 32 to 33 wounds to go through there. With an armor save of a 3+ going to a 4+, that's approximately 16 damage. Now these models are 2 wounded models, so you've got to split that in half, because every model is going to take 2 of these dice. So on average, you're looking at about 8 die. So in a single shooting phase, if that was 8 Intercessors, 128 points approximately, depends on the Intercessor unit. 8 Legionnaires is about 144 points there. Now they can come in 5s, they can also come in 10s. So you may clear the unit, or you may just leave 1 or 2 models left. Or you may get lucky, in fact, and just remove the entire unit of 10 there. Of course, this is just an average at the end of the day. Going up even further, if you were to look at Terminator kind of models, so they're Toughness 5. Terminators, Chaos Terminators, Toughness 5, 2+ armor save this time. 4+ invulnerable save, although the invuln save won't really come into effect because we're only -1 AP. So it's only going to drop them to a 3+ armor save anyway. And they've got 3 wounds apiece unless they're taking the storm shields, but for this example we're not going to include the shields. So we've got the same things again, 42 hits on average. This time we're wounded on 3 still. We're still wounded on 3s because we're still better than their toughness. Strength 6 is better than toughness 5. And we're still re-rolling 1s, so we're going to get again 32 to 33 wounds going through. Now the armor save, of course, is slightly different here. It's going to be put from a 2+ to a 3+. That's about, it's almost 11 damage going through there. Now these are 3 wounded models, so that's approximately 3 and a bit, if you like, in terms of dead Terminators. Terminators are about 111 points to 120 points, depending on the Terminator type, depending on the faction. Chaos Terminators are slightly more expensive for whatever reason. So yeah, you're removing slightly less than you were in terms of the Toughness 4 stuff, and definitely less in terms of the Toughness 3 stuff. Now let's move over to Toughness 6. Now Toughness 6 gets a little bit different because the model stats are quite wildly different. I've tried to get a few examples that are close to each other, quite similar, but a lot of Toughness 6s go all over the place in terms of their toughness, no, not the toughness, of course Toughness is 6, in terms of their armor saves potentially, or the amount of wounds they've got. But if you take, for example, a Bible, 3+ armor save with 5 wounds. You could take an 8-bound from World Eaters, they've got a 3+ armor save, but only 3 wounds. They do have a 5+ invulnerable save, but that won't matter again, we're only -1 AP. Eradicators from the Space Marine Codex, they're 3 wounds with a 3+ armor save as well, so very similar to 8-bound in fact, without the invuns. So we're going to take these 3 examples. I know one's got more wounds than the other 2, but it kind of works similar. So with your 42 hits, you're wounded on 4s this time. We're now Strength 6 going up against Toughness 6, so we're equal there. We're wounded on 4s, we're re-rolling 1s though still because none of these are monster vehicles. 24 to 25 wounds to go through. With an armor save of a 3+, that will go to a 4+, that will be about 12. Just slightly over 12, but we'll call it 12 as an average there in terms of damage. Now, this is where things get different. If you are to go up against the 8-bound, you are killing 4 8-bound. 193 points, I think that is. Eradicators, you're killing 4 Eradicators. That's going to be 127 points or so. Biovores, they're 5 wounds each. It's going to kill a couple of them. Which means 150 points. So the points goes from 127 to 193. It's quite a dramatic change, if you like, or a dramatic range of points that you can decrease from your opponent's list there. Toughness 6 does get a bit dicey. So that's the toughness groups right up until toughness 6. We will talk about some more toughness groups in a moment, but first I want to show you how you can slightly improve these statistics by using your codex, by using the detachment, by using the synergy with other units as well. The first thing is the detachments. There's two in particular that I want to talk about today. The first one is the Awakened Dynasty. Now this is the dynasty that gives you the +1 to hit if you've got a leader within the unit, which is called Command Protocols. So we've got the Locust Lord there, so that will be a +1 to hit. Now we've already got the heavy keyword, but it now means we can move and maybe get within rapid fire range, which we may not always be in. Now all these stats and figures that I've said so far were within rapid fire range and were hitting on 2s. So that's sort of your best case scenario, although it was averages. Now within that same detachment, you've also got the Veil of Darkness relic that you could put on the Locust Lord as an enhancement. That will get you 9 inches away. You don't need to be 9 inches away, you only need to be 18. So you don't have to get too close if you don't want. 18 is enough to get within rapid fire and blast whatever you want to blast. I mean, even in terms of the stratagem, you've got the Protocol of Sudden Storm to add Assault. So now you could be moving your 8 inches, then rolling a d6 to advance, and then still fire. That will be even better for your rapid fire range. And there's also the Protocol of Conquering Tyrant to be able to reroll your hit rolls. Now the second detachment I want to mention here is the Hypercrypt Legion, which is my personal favourite. I do like the Hyperphasing ability. It will get you into rapid fire range from the table edges if you come on from the battlefield. There is an enhancement in here which is kind of cool, which is the Horizon Tyrant. Again, you put that on your Locust Lord as an enhancement. You're going to get full rerolls when you enter the battlefield. And what you could do is actually fish for 5+ rolls. So even if it's a 3, even if it's a 4, roll them again, go for those 5s. Because there is still a chance you get a 3 or 4 again. Yes, of course you could get a 1 or a 2, don't get me wrong. But I think you're better off, you've got more chance of getting a hit. Because there's only 2 numbers out of the d6 that are a miss. The other 4 are a hit. And the other, well, 2 more of those, in fact, are sustained hits as well. So you're definitely worth fishing for it. Reroll everything that isn't a sustained hit. You've also got the Cosmic Precision stratagem within this detachment that will get you 3 inches away from enemy units. It's almost like having Deep Strike as well. They don't need to have Deep Strike to use this. But if your opponent has really castled up and not left any spaces anywhere on the battlefield in where you want to be, you can use a 3-inch Deep Strike with Cosmic Precision, use Rapid Fire, and away you go. Now, I mean, if you really did want Deep Strike, there is the Austrioclay Fulcrum, but I think I would prefer to stick with the Horizon Tyrant. Just the full rerolls is just mega with this many attacks and sustained hits 1. Now, in terms of other helpful options within the Codex, there's a couple of units that I want to talk about today. Not for durability, just for purely offense. The first one is the Trike Stalkers. The Trike Stalkers could fire upon a unit, and once they've hit the unit, that unit's going to be, well, all units that are firing at the unit are going to be ignoring cover. Now, that's something else we've not really spoke about within this video so far. Cover saves, cover saves to the armor save, especially if they're on a, well, in fact, it'll be on anything because there's a -1 AP, isn't there? So any of these units will have a cover save if they are within cover. And as you guys know, 10th edition has a lot of cover. So by using a Trike Stalker, you can completely remove that cover save. That -1 AP is -1 AP. That's good. And the second unit I want to talk about today is the Silent King. Not everybody's cup of tea. I personally don't use him that much at the moment. But the Silent King's ability to be able to reroll all hits and win rolls of a 1 within 6 inches as an aura, which is one of his Trike abilities, you could use that on this unit. Now, they're not going to really need the rerolls of 1s to wound because they've already got that naturally. Unless they're firing at monster vehicles, then they won't have it naturally. But the rerolls of 1s to hit could be quite useful. Again, if you've not got an enhancement that gives you those rerolls, like the Horizon Tyrant, for example, then the Silent King may be your man. We've already spoke about Toughness 3, 4, 5, and 6. All those units are pretty fine to shoot at. Toughness 6 or less, yeah, they're a decent target. Now, if you go into Toughness 7 onwards, it means you're now going to be wounding on 5s, maybe even 6s, depends how big the target is. And Toughness 7 units tend to have a lot of wounds and a decent save, some of them as well with an invuln save, so they're quite hard to get through, especially with only -1 AP and only 1 damage. I mean, you can chip some wounds off. It's not the worst case scenario if you're chipping like 3 or 4 wounds off a Toughness 8 model, but we do have better units within the Codex, such as the Locust Heavy Destroyers with the Gorse Destructors, the same unit, just a different weapon. We've also got Doomsday Arcs, the Monoliths, and so on. They will do a better job of clearing those kind of units. Now, if we're talking about Toughness 7, let's do some more maths. Toughness 7, let's go to the Custodians. I think they're called the Alluris Custodians. They're Toughness 7, they've got a 2+ armor save and a 4+ invulnerable save. Now, when all said and done, you probably will kill about one of them, because you're wounded on 5s. Yes, you are still re-rolling 1s, but then it puts them on a 3+ armor save. You probably only kill 1, which is about 65 points worth. And for 1 CP, they can actually bring a model back in their command phase. So it probably will be a complete waste of time against that kind of target. And it gets harder if you start to fire at monsters and vehicles as well, because then you will lose your rerolls of 1s to wound. So for example, if you're going up against a Nemesis Dread Knight from the Grey Knights, Toughness 8, 13 wounds, 2+ armor, 4+ invulnerable save, you're looking at about 4 or 5 damage when all said and done, which isn't horrendous. Don't get me wrong, that's not that bad, but one single Locust Heavy Destroyer with the Destructor can slap 6 damage from 1 single dice. Now, you could argue back with that. You could say, well, it's much easier to negate a single dice roll because, first of all, the 4+ invulnerable save. If they get the 4+, then it's gone. Second of all, the CP rerolls. If they do fail their invulnerable save, they could re-roll it for a CP and then get the 4+, and then that 6 damage isn't going to happen. It's much more difficult to negate lots of damage 1 dice than it is to negate a single damage 6 dice. So it swings and roundabouts there, but I just think we've got better options again. Doomsday Arc's another one. Canoptic Doomstalkers are slapping 3 damage, potentially those. So yeah, it all depends. I mean, let's take it further. Toughness 12 and beyond now. That's when you're wounded on 2s. Let's go up against an Imperial Knight Castellan, I think they're called. Toughness 13 they are. Toughness 13, 2+ armor, 5+ invulnerable save, 24 wounds. Your shots are literally just bouncing off this thing. You're not getting your rerolls. You're going to do about 2 or 3 damage as an average, and that's with the rapid fire range and the heavy as well. It's clearly not the right target for your Locust Heavy Destroyers with Exterminators. So in conclusion, what should we be shooting at with the Exterminator weapons? Toughness 3 for sure. You're getting 200 points plus if you manage to maybe split fire and take away all the infantry models there. Toughness 4, 100 to 120 points worth or so of your opponent's army. Out the window, gone. That's decent. That's pretty much every single shooting phase. You're not quite getting your points back because the 150 points plus the Locust Lord was 80 points. So it's not quite. It'll take a couple of turns to get your points back. Toughness 6, anything between 120 and 200. Again, Toughness 6 is quite difficult to work out. They're all very different, very faction dependent. Toughness 7 to 11, not ideal. You've got better options. You can score a few decent amount of wounds there, but you've just got better options within the Codex. It's not worth wasting these weapons on that target. And Toughness 12 and beyond, you're just denting the sides. You're not really doing enough. Don't waste your time. So guys, that's how I'm using my Locust Heavy Destroyers. What are you doing with yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.